Heyo folks, you have tuned into 109.5 K.E.L.I Radio. And today's video topic is on a theory that we believe has the answers to the entirety of the Melon Belly operation found within MythOS. This theory is a collaborative effort between me and Bryan Bones. It is as much as my theory as it is his, so make sure to show him some love. As always, there will be spoilers for Dog Season, Boneworks and Bonelab ahead, so click off now if you wish to avoid these. So now, with the formalities out of the way. This theory states that the Void Witch is responsible for the production and distribution of Melon Belly, as well as using it to control the Nullmen to open a Void Gate, possibly for her own gain, while Lavagang / Stress Level 0 are collaborating to keep it discreet, teaching Nullmen to make their own and monitoring the effects. The Void Witch is referenced 2 times in Bonelab, the first time being on Alex's whiteboard in the lab, and the second time in Jay's taxi. The Triple Tiger minigame in Dog Season also seems to be a hint at the idea of a three-eyed cat existing within the universe. The ties we see between the Void Witch and Melon Belly start in the sewers of Boneworks, at the biggest operation of Melon Belly production in the whole game. In the room there is a piece of three-eyed graffiti with feline-shaped eyes. Given the use that eye posters have in MythOS, that being allowing Monosec to perhaps watch through them, it's possible this graffiti allows her to overlook the operation herself. It's explicitly shown to us in the same level that Lavagang taught the Gnolls how to ferment their own Melon Belly, and we can see this happening inside of the operation as well. It is speculated that Melon Bootleg is what the Gnolls produce, while Melon Belly is what is delivered to them. Something else we found that suggests possession by the Void Witch is the third eye drawn at the top of a Nobody graffiti in the museum. It being the same color as the eyes in the sewer shows a clear connection. It should also be noted that the same sort of green Nullman graffiti can be found at the end of Boneworks alongside text from Old Myth, although the third eye on the forehead is missing. In Halfway Park we see more from Lavagang / Stress Level 0 and their involvement. They are keeping paths open for the importing of the goods, as well as trying to keep it away from Monosec, while researching its effects on the Gnolls. Arthur Ford is also rare but doesn't take any action against it. In fact, given info from a clipboard from a disgruntled Saber Lake employee in Central Station's basement, it's possible he moved Saber Lake away from any Melon Belly related operations with his power as a security director. But back to the Halfway Park clipboard. In the last sentence, it seems like Scotsman, the writer of the clipboard, is unaware of who is importing Melon Belly. This makes it seem like Lavagang / Stress Level 0 and the Void Witch are working independently from one another, but keeping the peace. It also seems that it doesn't matter the source of the void fermented melon juice, only the effects on Gnolls. There's more info on this clipboard, but we will get back to that later. So that begs the question, what are the effects of Melon Belly on the Gnolls? In Runoff, there's a clipboard questioning the source of sentience spreading within the Nullmen. It states they thought it was originally something indisposable, but it continued after cleanup. With a Melon Belly operation at the end of Runoff, it's clear that Melon Belly may spread sentience. But there's more. There's a clipboard in Streets lamenting that Nullmen keep breaking in to steal lights for growing melons, which they use to create more melon drinks, as well as a clipboard in Warehouse from an unknown person creating experimental test batches of melon extract to sell to the Gnolls. This person tampering with their operation could also possibly be the explanation of the corrupted Gnolls around the game as well. Let's also think about the production itself. These are void melons fermented for infinity and extracted with pure light. These are all terms we are somewhat unfamiliar with, but the presence of void in these drinks gives us a hint at what it could do. It could be connecting these bodies to the void, a dimension linked heavily with consciousness. See the Void Explained video for a more in-depth explanation. We know that Gnolls are mindless artificial constructs created by the city's AI, the Void Mind, to carry out physical labor such as building the city and organizing data, such as a hive mind. Drinking the Melon Belly could disconnect their bodies from the Void Mind and instead provide a consciousness from the Void. This could also explain the zombish Fords who drank Melon Belly, quit Myth, died in real life, or took off their headsets. They had their leftover rigs in Myth puppeted / given consciousness by the Melon Belly instead. Now, this all suggests that the Melon Belly drinks give the Gnolls sentience, right? Well, here's where things get tricky. It's possible they could be controlled by someone else, likely our Void Witch. In the Time Tower, Hayes tells us that it seems like something is controlling the Nullmen and that they are creating a Void Gate in the core tower. And we do see this right under the core tower. a few gnolls surrounding a pyramid made of void energy. This is where our Scotsman clipboard in Halfway Park comes in. He mentions this exact thing in the context of the gnolls that have drunk Melon Belly, and specifically says, talk about following the white rabbit. The white rabbit is a piece of symbolism used throughout pop culture since Alice in Wonderland. It roughly represents following curiosity and realizing how deep the rabbit hole actually goes. It is present many times in Boneworks and Bonelab as well, with the white rabbit face painted on the Melon Belly barrels to the rabbit statue hiding behind the foot of a statue in the Boneworks throne room level. It's actually facing towards the castle and therefore the void. It used to be also present in Bonelab's Tuscany, but it was removed in one of the patches. I presume patch 4, I could be wrong about that however. Using this, it is pretty much confirmed that the gnolls creating this void gate is a direct result of their Melon Belly consumption. What we do know though is that Scotsman in his Halfway Park clipboard says this void gate would blow Mythos wide open. Our interpretation of this phase is that it opens up Myth to anyone in the void wanting to enter, and possibly anyone in Myth to exit out into the void. The intention could be for the gnolls to leave into the void and become servants of the Void Witch, or to let the Void Witch herself into Myth, but it's just unknown as of now. Our last piece of evidence here comes from Central Station, a clipboard showing a conversation between two unknown Monogon employees. One of them is complaining that the melon barrels being imported are clearly unsanctioned by Monogon, and the other employee simply states, hey, as long as she keeps paying us, I'm keeping my head down. It's clear to us at this point that the unknown woman here is the Void Witch, as witch is a female exclusive term. All of this paints a clear picture that the Void Witch is producing Melon Belly, importing it into Mythos for gnolls to drink and spread around wildly, to give her power to control them and to create a void gate for herself and or others to take advantage of, all while paying off Monogon employees and working with Levergang to keep it secret. And with that comes the end of our Melon Belly theory. This one has been quite the doozy to research and figure out, so I'd once again like to thank the entirety of K.E.L.I and specifically Bryan Bones for his help with this theory. It wouldn't have been possible without him. It genuinely wouldn't be. So, with all that being said, I'll be catching you in the next broadcast.